pleasant Wednesday evening to all our listeners and of course our viewers on Facebook Live as well. And of course I want to welcome you once again to On The Mark. It's another beautiful Wednesday evening here in Queen City, Nevis. It is the 14th day of September in the year 2022. Guess what? These days and these weeks are rolling over very, very quickly. The months are rolling. It's almost December and we just had 2022 starting. So I don't know where the days and the months and the weeks have gone. Anyway, it is the 14th day of September 2022 and it's your On The Mark program once again. And I don't know if you got tired of hearing me last week, but unfortunately you're hearing me again tonight. And so I am sitting in tonight again for the regular host of the show. The regular host of the show, the Honorable Mark Brantley, is not in tonight, but I am here with you. And so I'll be with you until 10 o'clock. Of course, we know that this is a commercial-free talk show, 2 hours. And of course, it's the most popular show in the Federation and the region and maybe the world. And so I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you who are listening and who are viewing to On The Mark for this Wednesday, the 14th of September 2022. It's a beautiful Wednesday night here in Queen City, Nevis. And of course, we say good night to all of you who are in tune, whether you are in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, across the region, or in the diaspora. We know we have a lot of listeners in the Federation, across the region, and around the globe. People wait up. Those of you who live in England and those places, you wait up to listen to On The Mark every Wednesday. We know we have some very dedicated listeners who do not want to miss not even a minute of the show. And so it is my pleasure once again to welcome you to On The Mark. Of course, we're going to have a wonderful evening tonight. Those of you who are viewing on Facebook Live, you would realize that I have my mask on, and that means that I have a guest in the studio with me. Actually, I'll be having two guests tonight. I have one who is already here, and I'll have one who will be coming on after this one leaves. And so I'll have company again tonight. Last week I had company. I'm going to have company again tonight. And you know, it's always good to have company when we are on the market. Of course, it's a show. It is a talk show, yes, where we give out a lot of information, and of course a lot of the times persons want to come and share information, and this is a show that always welcomes everyone who would want to come and share information to the general public. And so, as I said, I do have a guest with me who is sitting in the studio, and I'll have another one who will be joining a little later on. But of course, we know at the top of the hour, at the start of the show, we normally do some housekeeping matters, and so I just want at the top to say good night and happy birthday to those of you who might be celebrating birthday today, or maybe a wedding anniversary, or any other occasion that you're celebrating. It's indeed has been a wonderful day, and I hope you have enjoyed your day so far. Let me extend birthday greetings to my goddaughter over there in Brick Hill, Roshina Brown. You're making 20 today. And I hope you've had a wonderful day, and I hope you'll enjoy what's left of your 20th birthday, Roshina. And all who are celebrating today, hope you had a great day so far. Also want to send some belated birthday greetings to my neighbor down there in Rice's Pin. I understand you celebrated on Monday, and knowing you, I know you would have had a blast on your day on Monday. Black would have ensured that you had a good time. And let me also extend, this is very late, but let me extend some belated birthday greetings to Mr. Leonard Peer down there in Handelswood, my very, very, very good friend. Mr. Peer, I am sorry that I missed your birthday last week. So I hope you had a good day. Well, you told me that you had a good day. It was good to visit with you anyway later on in the week. And of course, belated anniversary greetings as well to you and your wife, Emerald. So, Mr. Pierre, I know you're listening. You never miss On The Mark, and you never miss anything that happens on Von Radio. So, belated wedding anniversary greetings and birthday greetings to you. Hope you had a wonderful time. And of course, anyone else who's celebrating today, happy birthday or happy anniversary to you. Of course, we also would like to shout out the folks who are not feeling so well, those who are a little bit under the weather, and we always say hello to the folks who are hospitalized at this time, or you may be in one of the homes, whether in Gingerland or Charlestown. We say good night to you, and of course we say good night to the wonderful folks who are taking such great care of you here at the hospital in Charlestown. I want to say good night to all of the patients there. I hope that you have had a good day, and I hope you'll continue to have a wonderful evening. I want to say a special good night to my good friend Selkridge. I know you have your radio on because you say even though you're in the hospital, you don't want to miss On the Mark. So good night to you. Margaret, hope you're feeling better. And all of the patients at the hospital, good night to you. And of course, the caring nurses and the other staff who are there taking such wonderful care of you, we say good night to you as well. Let me at this point in time as well extend some condolences. We know we have several persons who are in the bereaved column, and let me extend some condolences to the Claxton family. We have lost Janet Claxton from right there in Ramsbury. A lot of persons didn't know that Mrs. Claxton was actually from Anguilla, but she has been living in Nevis for most of her life, and so of course we know that she has some wonderful children. Especially we say condolences to Frankie and his family down in Anguilla, Rohan and your family here in Nevis, and the rest of the family members, the other children and the grandchildren and all of the extended family. Mrs. Claxton was a wonderful, quiet person, one of the pillars of the Methodist Church, Methodist community here on the island of Nevis. She will be laid to rest next week, Thursday, with a service at the Gingerland Methodist Church. And so we're asking persons to rally around the family. It's a wonderful family, and so we say condolences to you. And I also want to extend some condolences to the Jones family. They are also mourning at this point in time. They would have lost Maria in St. Martin, and so we say condolences to you. My very good friend Shelley Jones Liebert, I know it's going to be a blow for you, and some extending family condolences to you and your entire family, and of course the siblings, Reverend Morgan and Anthony and Stephen and all of the family. Keithley, I don't know if you're still here, but all of the family. I would have met Maria several times when I went to St. Martin, because normally when I go to St. Martin I go to church. We Anglicans like to go to church, and so I would have met Maria several times when I went to church in St. Martin. Nice quiet lady, and so we extend condolences to the entire Jones family as well. And of course, we normally go from high to low and then back to high sometimes. I want to extend some congratulations, heartiest congratulations to the Brantley girls, the Brantley sisters, Brianna and Gabriella. Brianna would have been conferred with the Master of Law degree, LLB, from the University of Cambridge in London. And Gabriella would have been conferred with the Bachelor of Law LLB degree with honors from the University College London, UCL. And so I know the proud parents were there to celebrate with their daughters, and so I want to extend congratulations to my lovely cousins Brianna and Gabriella, and to the proud parents as well who were there to witness this very auspicious occasion on this remarkable achievement of these two lovely, bright, intelligent girls. So congratulations to the Brantley girls. I also wanted this time, I've been told that I need to send a notice out because, you know, On the Mark is so widely listened to. As I mentioned when at the top of the show, people in England stay up, people from all over the globe stay up, and I know a lot of people in Canada. No, I know almost everybody in the US listens, everybody from Nevis who in the US listens, but I know we have a lot of listeners in Canada as well. And so I've been asked to announce this notice to the Canadians, or actually the Nevisians and Kittitians who are living in Canada. And the St. Kitts and Nevis nationals who are living in Canada, you are asked to go and celebrate the Federation's 39th Independence Anniversary this coming Saturday. It will be a church service, and it's happening this Saturday, September the 17th at 4 p.m. at the St. George on Young Anglican Church. I hope I had that right. And it's situated at 5350 Yonge Street, Toronto, Canada. It is being hosted in collaboration with the St. Kitts and Nevis Association of Toronto, the Nefcan Association, the St. Kitts and Nevis Circle of Care, and the Consulate of St. Kitts and Nevis. A reception will actually follow after the church service. As I said, the church service starts at 4 o'clock. And so all of you Nevisians and Kittitians, and you can take along your friends with you as well, as we celebrate our independence, our 39th independence anniversary, and it's all happening this coming Saturday, the 17th of September, from 4 o'clock at the St. George on Young Anglican Church. Actually, St. George, I go to St. George Anglican here in Nevis, and there's a St. George Anglican in Canada as well. What a coincidence. And a special invitation is being extended to persons who live in Brampton, Kitchener, Pickering, Oshawa, Mississauga, and the Toronto areas. And so once again, persons living in Brampton, Kitchener, Pickering, Oshawa, Mississauga, and the Toronto areas, you're asked to go out and show some love with each other, mix and mingle, go to church, and then a reception will follow. That's this Saturday. Persons living in Canada, and I know a lot of persons in Canada are actually glued to their radios or their internet or to the computer or their phones right now. And of course, we know this is the Independence Weekend here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and lots are happening this weekend as well, both in St. Kitts and Nevis. And starting tomorrow, there will be a Trendy Feet men's pop-up shop at the Malcolm Gishard Recreation Park, and it's going to be on this 15th, 16th, and the 17th. It starts at 9 a.m., goes until 6 p.m., and brand names that will be featured will include Guess, Michael Kors, Polo, Stacey Adams, and more. And of course, for more information, you can call Agnola at 662-8577. So as I said, all you need for men, shoes, going to be mainly shoes, going to be shirts, polos, shorts, ties, socks, anything you want. Go on, and they're the brand name. So those of you who like brand name stuff, the right place to go is at MGR Park tomorrow, Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And there are a lot more activities going to be happening this weekend. We're going to be hearing about a couple of them on the show, and I'm expecting a call as well to talk about another activity for independence. So lots of things happening. Of course, we're hearing a lot about a weather system out there, but the planning continues. We don't know whether or not the weather system is going to really hit us, but we still have to plan. We're planning in earnest. And of course, those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, you'd realize that I have on my white tonight. I am sporting the color of the flag for today is white, and so I decided to put on my white tonight. I had on white today at the office, and guess what? My guest is also wearing white. I don't know if that's why he's wearing his white today, but I'm wearing my white because I've been trying my best to be as patriotic as possible. Of course, we know we would have started last Friday with our Colors Week, and it's going to end tomorrow. So last Friday we would have started with green. On Monday we would have done yellow. Yesterday we would have done black. Today we are doing white, and tomorrow we are doing red. And so I have tried my best to be as patriotic as possible. I know quite a number of persons as well in the Federation have done their best to wear their national colors, and I have to do it because guess what? I have someone at my office who I would refer to as the fashion police, my assistant PS, Michelle Library Rollins, and she makes sure she comes to my office every day to make sure that I have on my color. And I don't call her the fashion police for nothing, because this lady can dress. Michelle, good night to you. She always keeps me in line to make sure that I'm wearing what I'm supposed to wear. If I'm not wearing, she's asking me, why, Minister, why you don't have on your color today? So I wore white today and I'm wearing white tonight. And tomorrow, those of you who have not been very patriotic, tomorrow is red. So wear your red tomorrow. I've already ironed my red shirt for tomorrow. And so tomorrow is the final day for the colors of the flag, and so tomorrow we are wearing red. So if you didn't intend to wear red tomorrow, I'm encouraging you to wear red tomorrow. Let us continue to be patriotic. Unfortunately, a lot of our nationals and residents in the Federation are not very patriotic. Sometimes when we hear the national anthem being played, people are sitting down, able-bodied people are sitting down, and folks, we are not supposed to do that. When we hear the national anthem, we are supposed to rise to our feet right away and stand at attention. We learned that ever since we were in primary school, and unfortunately, I've seen responsible people, responsible persons in the community, the national anthem is being played and they're sitting down. That's not good enough. So we need to be as patriotic as possible, and so I'm asking persons, those of you who are not being very patriotic, start during this Independence celebration. And of course, we know we have lots of things happening this Independence weekend, and I understand things are happening straight on until the 30th of September. So whatever you can support, we ask you to support. So yes, I'm wearing my white. I'm sporting my Independence color tonight. Okay, so that's just my little 2 cents at the top of the show. And as I said, I do have a guest in studio with me, and as I said, he's wearing white as well. I understand he's not a total stranger to the show, and so we are happy to have him. And after he leaves, we'll have another guest. And so I want to say good night to my first guest for tonight, and let me ask him to introduce himself.
Honorable Eric.
Eric is fine. Eric is fine. Eric is fine.
It's indeed a pleasure to be here. I want to say thank you for allowing me a few minutes on your show this evening. Of course, I'm wearing my white because it's part of the plan.
Yes.
So I just fall in line very easily.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Yes. My name is Dalvin Nisbet. Most folks know me as Miser or Soch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here on behalf of the St. Paul's Anglican Church in Charlestown. And we're basically doing a fundraiser. We're scheduled for this Saturday, the 17th, which is right in the middle of the long holiday weekend.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be on the grounds of the old girls' school, which is now the church hall. It starts at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday, and if the weather doesn't allow it, then we'll have it the following Saturday, which is the 24th.
That is excellent planning, man.
Yes.
So you're saying if the weather doesn't allow it this Saturday, it's going to come off the following Saturday.
Absolutely.
So there's absolutely no excuse for anybody to say, well, it didn't come off and so it's not going to happen again. All right, Misa, go ahead.
That's right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
As part of the menu, we're going to have barbecue chicken legs and wings, roasted potfish and shellfish, fried potfish and shark. The shark, you don't have to worry, it's not one of those man-eaters. It's those small fellows, like 2 foot, 2 foot and 3 foot long, that kind of thing. And it's actually very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a light beer, a light bar.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have music by DJ Tony,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts at 11:30 a.m. Some folks have asked about the tree mutton.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, of course, you know what the tree mutton
I know what the tree mutton is.
Yeah,
It's the monkey. And to be honest with you, Misa, you know, when I worked in agriculture, when we just normally have our agriculture food fair, our exhibition, our open day, I just be one of the persons who advertise the tree mutton the most, but I've never tasted it. I'm sorry, I don't intend to either. I am sorry.
Same here. I've never tasted it, and I have no intention of tasting it knowingly.
Okay.
Of course, folks ask about it, but perhaps next time we may consider it. We're raising funds for the church business and to advance the work of the Lord in this part of the kingdom. We're having the fundraiser not because we like money, but because we need the help.
Right.
We're not sitting back and waiting for a handout. You may remember they renovated the old Charlestown Girls' School in 2011
Yes.
at a cost of more than $500,000.
Wow.
And
It
we
was
used
that
all
expensive.
Yes, very expensive. We had a local bank, Bank of Nevis, local architect, the Honorable Spencer Brand, local contractor, Flamingo. He did an excellent job.
Saying good night to Flamingo. How you doing? Hope you're doing well tonight.
Indeed. We reused most of the original stones, added the kitchen and bathrooms with showers. And it's now used for Sunday school, meeting hall, seminars, and of course, we talk about the storm, also as a disaster shelter, which we offer free of cost. In talking about the girls' school, it was constructed in 1900 and run by the church in an era when the church took responsibility for the education of the people. In 1915, the government took over the responsibility of education, and the building was used to educate girls until 1984, when the schools in Charlestown became integrated. In 1992, the building ceased to be an educational institution, and we do recall 2 head teachers from that era, Lindis Walters and Maud Cross. Of course, when the government took over the school, they used the building free of cost for all those years. And just to give you a brief history of our church, the St. Paul's Anglican Church, it was initially built with wood in 1680s, but around 1712, the building as it is today, for the most part, was constructed. And of course, it's a 300-year-old building. The roof leaks, and we're not sure what condition the walls will be in. So we're looking for your help, and whichever way you can. If there's a benefactor out there who would like to make a contribution, by all means, please do. We'd welcome that. So again, it's this Saturday. We're having a barbecue fundraising, and the menu will have chicken, fish, and shark, shellfish, and so on. And we'll have a bar.
I love shark and I love shellfish.
Indeed.
How did you all come up with the menu, though?
We have a fundraising committee, and we have a fisherman who is on that committee as well. So most of the items have been donated, so we're taking advantage of that. Of course, on the grill, you're going to be having guys like Eddie Keynes and Cedric Duport, and these guys are seasoned grillers. So
I know they are seasoned grillers.
Yes.
They do a magnificent job in grilling. I was going to ask you a question, but you just practically answered the question because you told me most of the things are donated.
Yes.
Because I was going to ask you why you're doing it so cheap for $15. You're trying to raise funds for the church, and the church is an institution that everybody wants to give to. So I'm wondering why $15 and not $20. Well, not that I'm telling you that you have to put it up to 20 next time, but I find 15 is a giveaway price for shark and for barbecue chicken and for roasted pot fish and for shellfish. That's a giveaway price.
We do believe so as well. But for those folks who come in, they can mix and match and make it whatever they want it to be. $20, $25, depending on what you want on your plate. We'll have a couple of side orders as well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be having some green salad and some slices of bread and some bits and pieces on the side as well.
Okay, you said that it starts at 11, but you didn't say it goes
11:30.
until when?
It goes until.
It could be 8 o'clock in the night.
Or even sundown. So it depends on the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
If we have good traffic coming through, then we'll be there a little longer. Some folks have indicated they will walk with the games, dominoes, Scrabble,
Mm-hmm.
and so we could have a very, very nice fun day as well.
And I know we Anglicans like to put on some very nice fundraisers, and it looks like it's an Anglican connection here tonight because me, you, Melissa, and the other person is coming after you will be an Anglican as well. So I know we're not only famous for putting on some real excellent fundraisers, and so I'm assuming that this one on Saturday, weather permitting,
Yes.
will be another excellent one where it's like a family event where everybody comes out and have fun. You just spoke about the games as well.
Yes, absolutely. And we're looking forward to a good turnout. We ask for your support as we continue to raise funds to renovate our buildings and to pay off for the renovation of the old girls' school.
Did you speak about music?
Yes, absolutely. DJ
Okay.
Tony will be
Okay.
in attendance.
Okay.
And he has a good selection of songs. Of course, we'll start light and just proceed at a slow pace.
And he normally plays some good old school music as well.
Yes, he has some good old-time reggae and some good old-time calypsos. No jump and wave, though.
Because he's going to be in the churchyard.
In the churchyard, absolutely.
No, Maisa, you spoke about the renovated school, and I've been there for several functions, and I must say that you all did a marvelous job in renovating that school. I to be honest with you, I didn't realize it was so costly to do it. But you have a captive audience right now because, as I said, this is a show that everybody listens to, and I'm sure you all still owe quite a bit of money. I'm sure you owe the bank still quite a bit of money.
Oh, yes.
And I know a lot of persons normally host events there. And so I'm sure that the church, being an institution like the church, you're normally very reasonable with your pricing as well. And so you need now to, I'm going to give you the opportunity to promote the venue for any function that people want to have, whether it's a party or a wedding, any function that they need to have, you need to promote it so at least persons can come and you'll be able to raise more funds that way as well.
Absolutely, Eric. The hall can be used for birthdays, anniversaries, meetings, seminars, etc. We have showers, we have good bathrooms, we have a kitchen, and it's available. And if you need to make a reservation, you can call John Christian Atherton, or you can call the parish rectory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall the prices though, but they're very
Okay.
reasonable indeed. So please support us. And of course the hall it's air conditioned, so it's very comfortable. We have good seating and tables. So I invite everyone to support us, support a good cause.
Fantastic. And I know normally once you're raising funds, I know for the past years before the pandemic, you guys used to organize a boat trip to Montserrat. December is coming up. thank God the pandemic we're getting behind it, so or getting in front of it, whatever it is. Thank God the pandemic is kind of moving away from us. If that trend continues, are you possibly going to have that boat ride this year? Because I know a lot of persons from Nevis normally look forward to that boat ride to Montserrat. I've never been. I'm not a good sailor, I must admit. But with the pandemic almost behind us, will you guys be organizing that again this year? Because persons might be looking forward to it.
Well, Eric, you'd be surprised how long ago, early in the year, folks have been asking if we're planning to go to Montserrat. And of course, the intention is to go to Montserrat. We're currently looking at the situation there in terms of the live COVID cases. We're making contact with a couple of boat captains to see whether they would be available. And we have contacts in Montserrat as well. What I would say to you, who say you don't sail very well, they have some motion sickness tablets. you can start taking your motion sickness tablets quite early, so that way when you get on the rocket and the seas and so on, you won't have to bring up anything.
That boat trip normally takes how long anyway?
If the last boat trip we went on, it was just a little over an hour. That was the hydrofoil.
That's not bad at all.
That used to run between Antigua and Montserrat. And that was very comfortable. It was like being in the 747. Very, very comfortable.
And you guys normally spend like the entire day there? What time you normally go up and what time you normally come back?
Yeah, depending on the boat, whether it's slow or faster. But the last trip it left about 4:30 and left Montserrat at 5:30. And
so you have the entire day there?
The entire day.
Okay.
And in Montserrat you can do several things. You can visit the disaster zone. You can visit the King Arrow's grave and stuff like that. Plus, it's they have some Christmas festivities on. For the past 5 or 6 times we've gone, we've always walked with the Odyssey Band from St. James.
Okay.
And they go up there and they make a really big impact.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, Maisa. Well, listen, before you go, I'm going to give you an opportunity once again to run back through what you said. Persons may have joined us late. And so if you have just joined us, we are, of course, you're in tune to the On The Mark program. I have Mr. Dolvin Maisa Nesbitt here with me, one of my guests, and he's here to promote an activity that is coming, that is a church activity. They're trying to raise some funds. He goes to the St. Paul's Anglican Church. And so, Maisa, I'm going to give you another opportunity to run back through what's happening this coming Saturday, the 17th of September, weather permitting, and remind us that if it doesn't happen on Saturday, it's going to happen the following Saturday. So tell us what's happening, where it's going to take place, what's on the menu, the cost, and everything.
Absolutely. We're having a fundraising barbecue on the grounds, actually it's in the courtyard of the old girls' school, which is now called the parish hall. And it's in Charlestown, of course. It's on Saturday, and it starts at 11:30. On the menu, we'll have barbecued chicken legs and wings, roasted potfish and shellfish, fried potfish and shark, and these are the small sharks, not the man-eaters. We'll have a bar. We'll have music by DJ Tony. It starts at 11:30, and it goes until folks no longer come. But we're hoping that, weather permitting, it happens this week, and if the weather is not on the good side, we'll be having it next week, Saturday, the 24th. So bear that in mind, please. You don't need a ticket to come. You can come and you can walk with your cash and spend cash as you feel like. But if you have a ticket, you can also trade that in, and we'll give it a token which you can spend on any part of the menu.
Well, I have one recommendation for you. When you're going to do that barbecue again, well, not this year, but when you're going to do it again, or if you're going to do it again this year or next year, you mentioned shark being on the menu.
Yes.
Next time you do it, you need to link with one of the Trinis on island and let them do some shark and bake. Right? Shark and bake, that's a big thing in Trinidad, and it really goes down good.
That sounds good. I love my shark.
I love shark too. But shark and bake is even better.
Absolutely.
So that's something you need to take to your fundraising committee. Next time you're doing shark, make sure it's shark and bake. All right?
Good. Very much appreciated, and thank you very much for having me on the show.
It was my absolute pleasure having you tonight, and I trust and hope everything will go well on Saturday at the barbecue. And I hope, weather permitting, it goes off well. Weather not permitting, it goes off well the following Saturday. So all the very best to you and the fundraising committee and the St. Paul's Anglican Church. Also understand that you're doing an independent service on Sunday as well at 9.
Yes.
I'll be at my church, so unfortunately I won't be able to come to that. Okay. But anyway, all the very best with your activity on Saturday. Thank you very much. That was Dalvin.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. That was Dalvin Miser Nesbitt. And before we get our next guest in, if there's any caller out there who would like to call in, please feel free to do so. I know we normally have some early callers with the thought and the scripture and so on. So if a caller, if you're out there and you're listening, or if there's any other caller who wants to chime in before my guest comes on, you feel free to do so. 869-469-1616 or 1700, and of course those will be the numbers that you can call, whether now or a little later, to be a part of the show. Of course, we know this is a show that we always entertain your calls as well, and so we want to say thanks to our first guest for tonight, Mr. Dalvin Miser Nesbitt. He was promoting an activity that will be hosted by the St. Paul's Anglican Church this coming Saturday, the 17th of September. That's a barbecue happening at the courtyard, the old girls' school there right next to the church. So once you know where the St. Paul's Anglican Church is, it's right next to the St. Paul's Anglican Church, and the barbecue is for a giveaway of only $15. So you can go on down this coming Saturday from 11:30 and support the St. Paul's Anglican Church with their fundraising barbecue event. So please go on out and support, weather permitting, this Saturday. Once again, if it does not happen this Saturday, it will come off on the following Saturday. So bear that in mind. Please go on out and support. It's always good when the churches can raise their own funds to do all of the activities. Of course, you heard that they would have done some renovation to the old girls' school, and they are still outstanding with quite a lot of money to the bank. And so go on out and support them. So once again, you are in tune to the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse Vaughan Radio. It's on the mark on this beautiful Wednesday night. It's the 14th day of September 2022. And as I said, I've just been finished with one of my guests, and my other guest has stepped into the studio. And so I want to say good night to my next guest. It's always a pleasure to have him. He as well is not any stranger to the Eastern Caribbean Spa House. He's not any stranger to the On The Mark program. And while my guest and myself are interacting, if there's anyone out there who would like to call in, please do not be afraid to call in and interrupt us. We will be accepting calls throughout the show. 869-469-1616 or 1700. And so you can feel free to call in at any time during our conversation that we'll be having right here on the Mark tonight. And so on that note, I will say good night to my next guest, and I will allow him to introduce himself.
Good evening, Eric, and good evening to all those persons tuned into the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse Vaughan Radio, 860 on the AM dial. It's always a pleasure to be here at Vaughan Radio, and as you rightly said, not a stranger to the microphones of Vaughan Radio, not a stranger to the microphones of On The Mark, and not a stranger being in your company here at Vaughan Radio. I recall the days when you sat where Melissa is now sitting,
yes.
And every Saturday nights between May, June, July, we would always interact.
Yes.
And so we are no strangers in terms of being together at Vaughan Radio and being live. And so once again, I want to say good evening and thank you, Eric, for having me here this evening.
Well, it is indeed a pleasure. And on that note, we have a caller. Good night, caller. You're live and on the mark.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Evelyn.
Good night. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. This is Mackie from Indian Castle.
Okay, wonderful. I was expecting your call. Yes.
Yes, and I didn't want to disappoint. So you're my. So I'm calling to invite the general public to our fishing tournament. I don't want to call it fishing tournament. Our usual Heroes Day event, but this year would be held on Independence Day at the Indian Castle landing site. prior to this year, we would normally have something fishy, which is just the fishermen go out and they bring in fish, pull the pot, spear fishing, whatever, and sell on the beach. But because we were away for 2 years and we normally have our signature event, which is the fishing tournament on Labor Day, we try to marry both this year. And so we have something fishy plus fishing tournament. It's our just rehearsal to our Labor Day event next year, which we want to come back bigger and better than before. And I know the general public is looking forward for that.
Fantastic.
And so I just want to invite one and all to the landing site. We'll have DJ Wenty providing music. We are inviting vendors at $100 per. Any fisher who want to take part, $100 registration. And this year is an open tournament. We don't have the category A and category B. The fishers would understand that. But category A is line fishing and category B normally is the set line event. But this year we're combining both. Like we said, we just adjust rehearsal onto our signature event. We're just ramping up because we were away for 2 years, and so we just want to feel the pulse of the public. So we're just coming back on a halfway house, so to speak. So the winner of the fishing tournament, the open tournament, is $1,000 and $100 for registration. We're inviting one and all to register. For registration, you can get form from anybody from Indian Castle Fisher Folks Association. I could contact myself at 662-7022. Any member they feel comfortable with in the Castle Fisher Folks Association, they would be able to guide them and tell them how they could get registered. We are hoping that everybody could be registered by the 18th of this month, which is Saturday, I think. Monday being the 19th. So the 18th by the 18th. But I understand year after year we have late registration. We don't turn back anybody because we want people to participate, and because there's a little tropical depression out there, people might be hesitant to register. We will facilitate, but we want to know exactly what we're doing before the event, and so we could register, send a name to the Coast Guard just in case, because we want to be able to plan around the event. But late registration would be accepted, but not encouraged. So, again, I know a lot of people are asking about the bingo also, and this year we won't have the bingo because the event starts from 12 until 6 p.m. And once we get into the bingo, we get into a later time, and that would mean generators, area lighting, and because we made this decision kind of late, we didn't get much time to plan the activity and build it up how we usually do. So I just want the public to bear with us. So this year we're going to try to cut it off using the daylight, maybe at 6:30, 7 o'clock. And we are planning to have a bingo event, and we are trying to use one of the vendors in the community, and we are thinking about Big Six. So let them stay tuned for that. We'll update the public on that really and truly. But coming soon, shortly after the fishing tournament, we'll have a bingo because a lot of people are asking for the bingo. But we cannot have it this year, the event, because of the
cutoff time.
Yes.
Okay. Now I know at some point in time in the past, when you were planning the fishing tournament, sometimes you've had situations with weather interrupting as well, and persons not being able to go and do their fishing. If by chance we are very hopeful, and we know that there's a system out there, but we are very hopeful because there are a lot of activities have been planned for this weekend, and persons want their activities to come off. But if by chance the weather is not so good to permit the fishing tournament aspect, will you continue with the other activity on land on Monday?
Yes, we are trying to have enough event to have a ground activity. Again, it would only happen if there's rough seas, then we could continue. But if the weather is inclement enough, rain and all that, then we'll have to scrub everything really and truly. But we are hoping, again, that's all be as well. But yes, we're moving forward with planning a ground activity. We're having competition. We have a a shell competition. Somebody you blow the longest and hardest, and little fringe activities to keep the family occupied and entertained while the fishing is going on, actually. And once the weather holds fair enough, if you have rough seas, no rain, activities continue. We have rain, we have our rainy day activities, but we'll forge ahead.
And sometimes irrespective of the weather, once people like an activity and they want to go out and lime, rain on or rain, they still come into lime.
We might just turn it into a wet fest. Yeah, but we're forging ahead. We respect the weather though.
Okay.
We'll forge ahead. We'll again work around the weather. Hope it holds fair. But we will find some activity, something to do, irrespective of the weather. But we respect the weather, and if we have to scrub everything, we have to scrub it. But for now, we will have some activities.
Do you have anybody who would have registered as yet for the tournament?
Well, Eric, I know you've been around, and you know how we are.
Yes, people like to register last minute.
Late registration. But I'm hopeful. The buzz is around, and I'm hopeful that a lot of people are asking for the farm, but there's no registration confirmed yet. And so we are hopeful that we will have some registration soon.
And is it open for fishermen from all around the island, or just is it limited to fishermen from the Hanley's Road in the Indian Castle area?
No, it's open for, when I said open, it's open category, and it's open for the whole world.
So people from Sinkis can come over as well.
Want to read the rules and want to abide by the rules and register, yes, you are welcome. Sinkis, Nevis, Anguilla, Montserrat, Antigua, everyone are invited to register and take part.
Okay, fantastic indeed. And I know normally once you have an activity down there at Indian Castle, it's normally very well supported. And so I'm going to wish you and the Indian Castle Fisher Folk every success. And I believe it will be a grand event there come on Independence Day. And so I want to wish you guys all the best. And I'll give you another plug to just invite persons out on Monday to come and support the activity.
Yeah, and one personal thank you for your support. It's an in-house event. We didn't seek any sponsors this year because we understand the situation post-COVID. Everybody tightening the belts and so. So I want to personally thank you for being our only sponsor yet for the year. But we
my
still
pleasure.
Sponsors, just in case somebody finds it fit to sponsor. So I want to thank you from my personal and from behalf of the Indian Castle Fisher Folk Association, because it aided in helping us to do more things.
My pleasure.
And again, I want to thank you.
Okay, sir. And as I said, I really hope people are going to turn out in your numbers. I know, of course, I know the people from Hanley's Road will turn out, and a lot of persons like to come to Hanley's Road, like to come to Indian Castle, so I know they're going to be there in their numbers come Monday, Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
For our group post-independence, and I'm wishing, like you are, that it is well supported.
Thank you, sir. And all the very best to you and the Fisher Folk Association. I'll see you guys on Monday.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, we had it there from Mr. Stephen Mackey Moore. He was promoting an activity that is happening this coming Monday, Independence Day, at Indian Castle. The Indian Castle Fisher Folk Association, we know that over the years they've had some wonderful activities there at Indian Castle with their fishing tournament, and so they're doing something this coming Monday. Of course, hopefully everything will be back with a bang next year for Labor Day. And so, as Matthew would have indicated, it's like a dress rehearsal to get things in motion post-COVID. Of course, we know that it was absent during the pandemic, but thankfully things are getting back to normal, and that is why we are hosting so many activities. And so now we're going to go back to our guest who is in studio with me, Mr. Antonio Abernathy Liebert. Back to you. And of course, we know that you're here to talk about a special event that's coming up as well this weekend. But I know you're this gentleman is the what should I call him, the king of Culturama, And so, do you want us to say a little bit about the Culturama before we get into that major activity that's coming up this coming weekend?
No problem, Mr. Minister of Culture.
Of course, we know that we recently hosted Culturama, and of course, this was our first normal regular Culturama in 3 years. We would have hosted Culturama last year, a virtual event at the David Freeman Center of Excellence, and that is still a that was such a proud moment for me and for you and for all of Gingerland and for all of Nevis. That was the first time in the history of Culturama that the entire festival was hosted in my constituency in St. George, Gingerland, at the David Freeman Center of Excellence, that excellent first-class facility that was built there in the heart of Gingerland. And so we had the virtual festival last year. We were able to go back to a normal festival this year, thankfully. And so we are gearing up because our Culturama 50 is right around the corner.
Yes, 2024.
Yes.
Nevis celebrates Culturama 50, and that promises to be a major event, a mega event. I think that one of the things that the Culturama Committee should be looking to is to have a big homecoming celebration,
yes,
to commemorate the 40th and the 50th anniversary of Nevis Culturama Festival. As you rightly said, yes, this year we were back. As our jingle said, we were outside again, having a full-scale Culturama Festival. And we had a hiatus of 2 years because the virtual celebration, we were not allowed to have an audience as such, although one or two persons who were participating in the activities, they brought along their friends, but it was not a mammoth crowd as we saw for the 48th staging of the festival. And so yes, it came back with a bang. We were a little bit rusty coming out of the gates, but I think that eventually we got we got it right. There's no festival without some difficulties, and yes, we experienced some difficulties, and we have already identified the causes of those difficulties, and so the Cultural Committee will be working on rectifying those difficulties going into Culturama 49 and then moving to the grand staging of the 50th anniversary. One thing I can say is that looking towards Culturama 49 is going to be a dress rehearsal for the 50th anniversary. So everything would have to be, the machinery would have to be well oiled, and everything would have to be, tight, so that when we have that mega celebration in 2024, persons would go back, persons for the diaspora who come home would go back feeling that, their monies were well spent coming to Nevis for Culturama. But then the focus should be, this evening on Culturama 48, and I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the persons who participated, the contestants, the participants, the persons who participated in the Junior Calypso competition. And this year I think we had 12 participants. I want to congratulate, thank the persons who competed in the Senior Calypso competition, the TDC Senior Calypso competition. We had some 15 Calypsonians, and then I must go back and say the Greenhouse Band Junior Calypso competition, because over the years the Junior Calypso competition was sponsored by Petrix, and the person, Mr. and Mrs. Connor Jazik, they no longer have that Petrix brand, and so they decided this year to again sponsor the Junior Calypso competition. Now when we say sponsor, all that you see at the Junior Calypso competition, all the work, all the music and everything that goes into the Junior Calypso competition is done by Mr. and Mrs. Shiverton, Jazik. They do not charge the Cultural Committee for doing that event. It's a goodwill gesture to promote and to, you know, train up junior calypsonians so that when the this and that and the Astros would have, you know, call it a day, that we have some persons waiting to move up in that senior category and take their place. And so I want to publicly thank Jazzy, Mr. and Mrs. Shiverton for their contribution. So moving along, yes.
And about, as you talk about the junior calypsonian and the junior calypso show as well, I must chime in as well and congratulate Jazik and his wife for doing that, because over the years we've realized that we have a consistent number of junior calypsonians who always take part in that show, and you know, every year sometimes the numbers grow a bit, but generally you hardly have less than 10 people, and that is a good showing, because you want, as you said, that progression, so at least persons can move over. If you have persons moving off of the senior calypso stage, you want persons moving on to the stage, and so that progression is very, very important. And so we can say that calypso on the island of Nevis is in good hands, because we have persons, well, we have a number of the senior calypsonians who are still pretty young, and then you have these other persons who are the juniors who will be stepping up to that level a couple of years back, in a couple of years down the road, and then every year you seem to have some new juniors coming onto the scene as well.
You had Suki, and then this year you had Akido. I think last year Akido. Yeah, last year you had Akido. And so, you know, the crop of junior calypsonians, you know, it is good to see that they do not stop when their tenure with the junior show has ended.
Which is good, Abo, because normally, once people get off the junior stage, they tend to pack up, like what we see for athletics. When we see a lot of people doing well in primary school, as soon as they get to the high school, they stop run. They stop. You know, so we are not seeing that happening in the calypso arena, which is good.
Yes, and you know, there are some others. If you look, we'll be looking towards the young chap there, I can't recall his name now, but Miss Williams' son, Lloyd Williams' grandson, we are looking for him to move up into the senior category next year, because this would have been his last year singing. Well, he did not sing this year because he had an overseas engagement in Bermuda, but we are looking for him to move up to the senior category next year and to rub the senior calypsonians, rub them hard. And I know that he's a fierce competitor.
Very.
And he's going to be doing that when he gets up into that category. We want to thank also our Soca Monarch artists for competing. We had a number of Soca Monarch artists that came over from St. Kitts, T-Bone and some others. They came over and they competed and enhanced the quality of the Soca Monarch contest. And you know, it is always good to see that rivalry between artists from St. Kitts and the artists from Nevis. And so publicly we want to say thank you to them for being a part of the Culturama 48 Soca Monarch contest. I want to thank National Bank, Mr. Donald Thompson, who is actually from right here in Bath Village.
Yes. And
he is the CEO of National Bank. And again this year, Donald and Shauna Pemberton side fit to sponsor the Soca Monarch competition. And we want to say thank you to them. We want to say thank you, going back to the senior calypso competition, to TDC, all Kelly and
before you go to the senior calypso competition, Abo, the Soca Monarch competition, a lot of persons were asking, where is the Delhi and where is the Speedy this year for the Soca competition?
Unfortunately, the chairman of the Soca Monarch competition is very strict, very, very strict, and Delhi and Speedy were not able to meet the deadline. Because there are deadlines that Tebulus puts in place. Your song must be registered. You must register. Your song must be registered. Your song must be in by a particular time. It must be released. And they were not able to meet that deadline. And Tebulous, he has been doing a fantastic job over the years.
Yes.
Because, when you tend to allow some amount of leeway, people tend to take advantage.
Yes.
Take advantage of it. And I sure that this year, Delhi and Speedy and those others who did not make it, that they would learn their lesson,
Of course.
they would begin to prepare early, so that they can meet the required deadlines and all of the various stipulations that are in place.
Because a lot of the fans were disappointed, but as you rightly said, Abo, it's good when you put these stipulations in place and these deadline in place, because of course over the years what we've been trying to do as well is to bring back the tents.
Yeah.
So when you're prepared early, when you have your music out early, you're able to take part in the tents, and the tents is a nice warm up to the semi-finals and the finals as well.
And what the Cultural Committee has done since 2013 is that they've given an incentive to the Calypsonians who release in the month of May. They get a $500 incentive, and they also, the Soca Monarch artists also get an incentive for actually the first Soca Monarch artist to release, just like the first Calypsonian to release. They get an incentive of $500 from the Cultural Committee, and that should be a motivating factor, because $500 could go a very long way in assisting them in producing their work. And so, over the years the committee has tried to assist the participants in the various competitions in one way or the other. And I find that this incentive, when it was put in place in 2013, when the now Premier, Honorable Mark Brantley, was the Minister of Culture, he put that incentive in place, and we have continued with it over the years. If we go and look now at the Mr. and Miss Talented Youth Pageant, we had 7 schools that competition this year. The chair for that committee was Miss Joyce Moving, and Joyce, is a very hard worker, a very thorough worker. She really was aiming for how many primary schools we have? 8, 9?
I think it's about 8 or 9.
8 or 9. She really was aiming to have all of the primary schools competing this year. That was not possible, and so she decided to go with the 7. And I want to place on record here the contribution that Republic Bank EC Limited would have made, the commitment, the sponsorship commitment that they would have given to the competition this year, contributing some $26,400, committing that to the Mr. and Miss Talented Youth Pageant this year. So I want to say big thank you to Ebony Harp and to Tecia Burton for the work that they put in ensuring that the Cultural Committee got this sponsorship from Republic Bank EC Limited. I want to congratulate the winning school. I think the winning school, if my memory serves me right, was the Prospect
Ivor Walters.
Sorry, the Ivor Walters Primary School, and if my memory serves me right, they were the winners in 2019.
Right, they were the last winners as well.
So they repeated again this year. If we are going to move now and look at the Miss Culture Queen pageant, we had 5 competitors in that, 5 contestants in that competition. And again, I want to say thank you to the lovely young ladies who came on board and competed in that competition. Want to publicly congratulate Miss Paris for winning that competition. Also want to say thank you to the sponsors who came on board and sponsored the 5 contestants who participated in that event. And then we had the Mr. Cool and the Miss Culture Swimwear. We had 4 Miss Culture Swimwear, 4 Mr. Cool, some 8 competitors in that competition. I am not going to sit here and say that all went well for the Mr. and Miss Talented Youth. No, the Miss Culture Swimwear and Mr. Cool. We have all acknowledged that there were issues, things there that we need to work on, we need to tighten up on, to improve on the quality of the show. So I'm not one who would want to say things went well, all well, in terms of that competition.
But as I would always say, irrespective, there is every show you have, there's always room for improvement, and every show you have is a learning experience. You know, but as you speak about these shows, and you know, you were able to attract sponsorship, how difficult was it to attract sponsorship? Because I know a lot of the institutions, they are not over the pandemic as yet. Of course, we know not even the government, because of course we know we would have lost so much money in terms of revenue the past 2 years. We are just trying to crawl back up, and I know a lot of the businesses are still having it a bit rough. So how difficult was it for you to attract the sponsorship? Because of course, for you to be able to get sponsors for all of these contestants in the various shows and so on, various pageants, I think it was a great feat.
Yes, it was difficult attracting sponsors. In fact, I'm not going to call any name, but there are some sponsors who gave commitment. We have not yet collected their sponsorship check, but they have said to me, be patient with us. We will be getting the sponsorships to you, the sponsorship monies to you. And so, you know, we kind of recognize that, you know, businesses had difficulties during the pandemic and post-pandemic. You know, they are just trying to get their head above water, and so we are being patient to them. But there are some sponsors that actually approached us and said, look, we want to sponsor something for Culturama this year. For example, the Republic Bank, a new sponsor coming on board. The Bank of Nevis, Mr. Martin, came on board and said, look, we want to sponsor in a much bigger way in 2022. And so I sat with himself and Fian Jones, Bornell Hanley and I. Bornell is the financial controller, and we were able to get an increased amount of sponsorship. In fact, they were the title sponsors of the Miss Culture Queen pageant. And so again, I want to say a big thank you to the entire Bank of Nevis family, Mr. Martin and Mr. Jones, for really knocking out a big dent this year, because their financial contribution was one that we welcomed with open arms. We were looking for something of that magnitude, and we got it. In terms of the other sponsors, there are some sponsors who, you know, we had to be patient with them. They promised, and you know, we coaxed them, and eventually they came on board. And I'm happy to say that we are presently in the process of putting our financials together, and we actually have seen an increase. We have recognized an increase in the sponsorship in 2022 over the sponsorship we received pre-pandemic in 2019.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. and you know, that
so things are looking up for Culturama 50 then.
Yeah, yes. That speaks volume. Persons, generally businesses, were glad to see the return of the festival this year, Eric. Mm-hmm. For 2 years, you know, they did not make, well, the sales were mediocre during that slow time of the year, because, you know, June, July, August is really the slow time. Then is when the hotels do not have, the occupancy falls. Some hotels choose that time to close and do renovations and all that. And what we have been doing with the hotels over the years is that we've been encouraging them to remain open, and we have been channeling business to the hotels during that slow period of time. And so I think that the businesses were kind of happy that, you know, persons were returning home from overseas after 2 years, and they saw an opportunity for increased sales. The supermarkets, the whoever else, they saw an opportunity, and so they wanted to come and say, hey, Culturama, thank you. We are seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, and so we want to make a tangible contribution to the festival this year, because we were not able to make anything during those slow periods for the last 2 years, and so they willingly came and give of their 2 cents.
And Abo, not cutting you off, but of course, over the years, what we've realized as well is that the institutions that come on board to sponsor, I mean, I'm sure persons come to the shows and they realize that we've come a long way in terms of the mileage that they receive on these shows. Of course, in the past, the MC would go and say, well, we had sponsorship but of course, they're able to get the electronic ads in, they're able to see the ads right there. Persons who are streaming on live are able to see the ads, and so they have a captive audience, and so they are able to get a lot more mileage. We do have a caller. Okay, caller left. So they have a lot of they have a captive audience where they can capture the people not only here on Nevis, but people who are in the diaspora, and so the ads are going all over the globe. And so I believe that is one of the reasons why many people are coming on board now as well, because of that mileage that they receive, not only on the night of the event, but even prior to the event. Because of course, when we have the Calypso 10s, when we have the semi-finals and so on, these ads are running, and so the mileage is there.
Yes, and we were able to this year partner with the Ministry of Tourism for a night market, a new event on the Culturama calendar this year that was held at the Artisan Village. It was a good show of support. And during that,
we have a call online. Just stick a pin. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Honorable.
Yes. How are you doing?
Eric, I'm listening to the program.
Yes.
I tell you, when I saw that Tuesday morning thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was on the Eastern Parkway in New York. Yeah.
You were in Nevis for the event, or you were watching it live?
I am Sylvester Ezekiel Samaso, master tongue, guitar,
Okay.
the sonic something.
Okay. All right.
I felt like I was on the Eastern Parkway when I used to play with the New Voice Band.
Okay. Okay.
But anyway, I just giving you all digging up all you.
Thank you very much.
God bless you, my brother.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, bless up.
All right. We'll see you next year, and we'll see you for 50.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Yes, Abo, you can proceed.
Yeah, that caller spoke about Juve.
Yes.
And Juve really was one of the success story of Culturama 48. Some persons say that it's the biggest Juve they had ever seen.
Well, I have seen all the Juves. I mean, ever since I was little, Abo, and I mean, I have covered the Long Jam from its inception for the Eastern Caribbean Spa House, and fortunately, again, I was given that opportunity once again this year, myself along with Melissa, and to do some coverage for the Long Jam. And to be honest with you, the crowd was really massive. And even when I got into Charlestown, Abo, I couldn't believe the crowd that I saw in Charlestown as well. As a matter of fact, I was going to ask you about the crowds, because the crowds that I saw for Juve, for Herbert Beach, and for Parade have been the largest crowd that I've seen for those events ever. All 3 events, Juve, Parade Day, and Herbert Beach. Herbert Beach is something I have covered from its inception as well. And the crowd that I saw over there, I've never seen that kind of crowd over there. I mean, I was commenting that when I was driving, going into to Herbert Beach, I was stuck up on the main road for over 10 minutes in traffic. I couldn't move. And when I was leaving Herbert Beach, I left probably between 10 and 11. I saw something that I'd never seen, where when I got up onto the island's main road, vehicles were parked from the entrance to Herbert Beach to all the way over the Express. I had never seen that in the history of Herbert Beach. So I mean, the crowds, like people were just waiting for Culturama to come back this year, Abo.
Yeah, well, I say, as the jingle said, for Culturama, we're outside again. and so persons really wanted to be out and about and to get involved in Culturama after being locked away for some 2 years. You spoke about the parade. Yes, the parade, massive show of support from the Kittitian and Division public. We were down a little with the troops this year, and
yes,
some troops, because of the pandemic, they were not able to attract sponsorship. But those troops that were able to come and parade, they had large number of participants, and then the persons that came out to view them and support them. I mean, Charleston was a beehive of activity on Parade Day, and so we want to say a big thank you to all of the supporters, all of the persons who participated. I forgot the Night of Steel, and a new event to the calendar this year, organized by the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation, the music department, Junior Paris, Corey Tyson. We also had last year the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation. They introduced a culture pot, and it was on the calendar again this year. And so another success story. The Nevis Cultural Development Foundation, they have been putting things into the Culturama calendar that is adding some diversity and helping the Culturama committee to maintain the cultural tradition of the festival. And so we want to say a big thank you to them as well. Have I left out any activity? We had the Poets in the Square.
You left out mine.
We had the Poets in the Square.
You left out my club's activity.
Clayton Huggins, again, Poets in the Square started back, I think, in 2013, when Patricia Bartlett chaired the Culturama Committee, and that has continued from 2013 right now up until 2022, and next year they celebrate the 10th anniversary, and I know that Clayton Huggins is already looking to a big celebration for Poets in the Square next year. He's already sourcing, visiting poets and performers, because he wants to make it a grand event. And then, of course, yes, the Empire Sports Club, aquatic sports, annual aquatic sports, back again after 2 years. Charleston Waterfront. You had the greasy pole. You had swimming competitions. You had all kind of competitions. And again, Eric, another successful event,
yes,
hosted by the Empire Sports Club. Corey Maynard and Corinne and Clive Evelyn and all those guys. We want to commend them for all of the work, Tessron Maynard, that they put in to ensure that the aquatic sports came back this year with a bang.
Yes.
And a number of persons came out, as we have been saying. They were glad to be out again. They came out and they really rallied behind the Hanleys Road, the Empire Sports Club, and rallied behind the activity that they staged for this year's festival. And so, all in all, Eric, the festival this year, there were some shortcomings, technical difficulties, the logistical difficulties, but I think that the pros outweigh the cons, Eric.
But I think we need to comment on the VIP this year.
Oh yeah,
because over the years we've had a VIP, right, run by the committee, run by the Ministry of Culture, practically run by the government, and we've had some challenges over the years, Abo, and it's to be honest, it's normally a headache. It's normally a headache. I know it's normally a headache. And this year, a private institution decided to come forward. And I mean, apart from that being a headache, people don't understand what it takes to run a festival like Culturama. I mean, for you to put on a one event, it's normally difficult, but to run, and I always tell people, I have a lot of respect for you because I don't know how you do it. To be honest, I absolutely don't know how you do this on an annual basis. I mean, I just be sorry for you. I know sometimes you don't get any sleep. I mean, you're under so much pressure. And anytime we have a very critical audience in Nevis, and so whenever anything goes wrong at a show, you get all the criticisms. People don't understand what's happening behind the scenes, what it takes to get things organized. When one little thing goes wrong, how we could mess up an entire show. And so people do not understand what goes into planning and executing a festival like Culturama. And so I said I had to tip my hat to you. But as I said, we had some major challenges with the VIP over the years. And an institution came forward this year and decided, but listen, we want to run the VIP. And I have to say that they did a tremendous job for a first time. Your comments?
Yeah, Stella's Kitchen, Elvis Maynard, Elvis Star Maynard, and Elsa De Lashley, they approached me and they said, look, we want to, because, all right, let us back up. Let us back up. The intention this year was for the NIA, the Nevis Culturama Committee, not to operate a VIP. There have been challenges with operating the VIP over the years. And coming back from, the pandemic and being away for 2 years, we decided, let us sit out on it this year. And Star heard that we were not going to have a VIP. And at short notice, he called me over to Stella's Kitchen at Long Point Road, and we sat down and we discussed. And Star said, look, I want to do the VIP. And he said something to me, Eric. He said, I don't want to do it this year, and then next year I'll take it back from me, I don't want to do it this year, and then next year I'll give somebody else. I want to be in it for the long run. I want at least a 3-year commitment from the Culturama Committee that I will be operating the VIP. Now, and that was commendable, because you had to find people coming and offering to undertake such a huge venture. And Star came along and he did what he had to do. He had some persons who were standing side by side with him and encouraging him and holding his hand and saying, this is what we need to do. And so I want to say a big thank you to Stella's Kitchen for organizing a VIP this year, a VIP of class this year. And so the persons who supported it, they were satisfied. Because of the late start in planning it and advertising it, there was some, not the support on the opening night and the second night was not too good. It was okay, but for the Queen show, I think persons really came out and had a good time. And so
I like the different themes per night level.
Right. And the fact that under the VIP, you could have gone underneath there and you could have chilled out as well.
Yes.
And so,
we had the 360.
Right. It was a good experience. And I know that they have learned a lot. And so they are already in planning stages, in the planning for next year, because Star has said to me, look, I know where I can source some of the things that I had to get persons to provide. I know where I can source them, and I'm going to be sourcing them as early as January. I'm going to be having those things here. So when the Culturama Committee calls on me again, I would be ready, and I'm going to be offering a much better experience. I'm going to start my marketing campaign early, and I said, Star, yes. That is what the Culturama Committee needs. Commitment from committed people like you. And so, we want to say a big thank you to Star for some persons thought that, we, the Cultural Committee, handpicked Star and said, look, organize a VIP, and we, or the government, or the Cultural Committee, will be paying you for your services at the end of the festival. It was nothing like that. Every single thing that you saw for that VIP came out of the coffers of Stella's Kitchen or Stella's Engineering. They put their hands into their pockets and they organize it. And I want to make that clear, because some persons say, well, why is it that the Cultural Committee handpicked Star? And
that was not the case.
That was not the case.
As a matter of fact, as you rightly said, there was not going to be a VIP this year, because people don't understand the challenges and the headache that we have as an administration, as a ministry, and as a committee to operate the VIP. And so when you came and you said that an institution had approached, I said, of course, because this is something they have taken a headache away from us, Abo, and it's a major headache every year to operate that VIP. It's very, very expensive to operate, and so I have to tip my hat to them as well, because they were doing this venture for the very first time, hadn't an idea whether or not they're going to make a profit, because I know, as you rightly said, there's some of the nights that were not very well supported, and so we don't know whether or not they made a profit, but at least they were wanted to go out on a limb to try something, and that is how businesses start.
Yeah.
And that is how businessmen and women become successful. You must take a chance. You may not always be successful, you may not always make a profit, but in the end, because I'm sure with this happening now for 49 and for 50, with them being able to advertise, they're going to be getting a lot more patrons.
Yeah. And one of the things that on hindsight we were not able to put in place this year was the online ticket sales.
Yes.
During the COVID, we recognized that everything you wanted to buy, you wanted to learn something. Our children had to go online to learn, to prepare for their CXC exams. Everything online. And that is one of the things that the Cultural Committee will be moving towards going forward, offering tickets for sale online. That is the way to go, really, and so we'll be looking at that.
Okay.
Going forward early, so that persons coming home from the diaspora could purchase their tickets even when they are in North America, Europe, wherever.
Okay.
And so when they are here,
hold that thought. Okay, the caller has gone. Remember, you can call in and interrupt us at any time. Our numbers are 869-469-1616 or 170. So if you're out there, even if it's not on the subject that we're talking about, and you want to call in, please feel free to do so. Yes, Avo.
Yes. So that is one of the things that we'll be going forward. Looking at in offering going forward, especially as you move into Cultural 50. So yes,
And one thing we didn't speak about is the streaming, because I know over the years we have gotten a lot of mileage with the streaming as well, and the streaming, the quality, we normally get a lot of excellent feedback. Any feedback they say in terms of our streaming?
Again, persons in the diaspora commended us for the quality of the stream. They commended us for offering the stream free again. But
this is a very generous committee and a very generous government. We have a call online. Good evening, you're live and on the mark.
Hello.
Good evening, you're live.
Good evening.
Yes.
Is this Von Radio?
It is Von Radio.
Von Radio.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just turn down some volume here. Give me a second, please. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Yes, hello.
Yes, good evening, you're live on Vaughn. You're live on the mark.
Gentlemen?
Yes.
With all due respect, right, for the cultural and the subsequent events, isn't there more important issues that could be addressed on this show? I mean, I can't tell you what to address, quite frankly.
You want to put something? You want to put something on the table?
How many sustainable jobs does Culturama and its VIP operation generate?
Do you want to put something on the table? We are discussing the matter here. Do you want to put something on the table?
I want to put something on tape.
On the table.
On the table, yes. Of course.
So what are you putting on the table?
How many sustainable jobs does cultural and its operation generate for it to be spending this much time on it rather than looking at?
So you're calling us to tell us how much time we can spend on Culturama?
No.
Of course, that is what you're trying to do.
I'm telling you about what the priorities are to be. Yes, I'm telling you.
But at the same time, you're asking about sustainable jobs, caller, right? You're asking about sustainable jobs, but at the same time, you're saying we should not be discussing Culturama.
I'm asking. My question is, how many sustainable jobs has Culturama created year upon year, or is it a seasonal matter?
Of course, Culturama is a seasonal matter. Culturama is a festival that is run annually by the government.
Am I saying they should not be cultural? I didn't say that.
But you're questioning you're questioning why we are discussing Culturama, caller.
No, let me rephrase the question in case you misunderstood. How many sustainable jobs does Culturama?
Maybe you should answer the question, because you seem to caller. You seem to have an agenda, because you called last week with an agenda as well, right? You call. Let me talk as well. I gave you a chance to speak, caller. You called last week with an agenda. You're calling again with an agenda this week. Last week you called and you were asking about the federal government and we are on the opposition. All kind of things you were questioning about. But caller, I mean, you're certainly calling with an agenda, right? Let me ask you a question. When your party was in government, they didn't speak about Culturama?
Do you know who I am? Come on, hold on a second.
I know who you are. I know exactly who you are.
This is a really dumb question.
When your party was in government, they never discussed Culturama?
I have no party.
You don't, okay, let me ask you, the party that you support. The party that you support, they didn't discuss Culturama?
Identify me? Who am I?
The party that you support didn't discuss Culturama?
Party I support?
Pardon me?
Who am I? That's the question.
I'm asking you if the party that you support did not discuss Culturama when they were in government.
So my question is, how many sustainable jobs does Culturama generate?
Caller, you called in and you said we should not be discussing Culturama.
How do you know who I am?
I know exactly who you are. Right? And you just said you didn't have a party, but everybody know that you have a party. Everybody knows that you support a party. I don't have to tell you who you are, because you know exactly who you are.
Mr. Evelyn.
Caller.
Evelyn, with all due respect, you are being evasive. You have not question.
When you were being evasive, you said that you don't have a party and you say you don't support a party. So you're being evasive as well.
Sir, if you know I support a party, two things. Identify me.
So are you saying that you don't support a party?
Huh?
Are you saying that you don't support a party?
How do you know where I am?
I am asking you if you're saying that you don't support a party.
Do you know who am I?
I am asking you if you say you don't support a party.
Come on, you should to be interviewed. No. That's not how it works.
So if you can ask me question, why can't I ask you questions? If you can ask me question, why can't I ask you questions?
Sir, you are in a position to be interviewed.
Well, you
don't interview the public on this show, sir.
Excuse me? So you can call and ask me question, and I can't ask you question? You have it all wrong. If you call in, we're supposed to have a conversation. So if you can ask me question, I have the right to ask you questions as well.
So you haven't answered mine.
Well, you haven't answered mine either.
I might be encouraged to answer yours.
Well, you haven't answered mine either.
So my question came first. You are being evasive.
You are being evasive as well. I asked if you. I was asking about the party that you support. If they never discussed Culturama.
Which party I support? Which party do I support?
You know which party you support.
Which party do I support?
You know which party you support.
Mr. Evelyn.
Caller, have a good night.
I know who you are because I've seen you.
Caller.
I have you on YouTube.
Caller, have a good night, sir. Well, let's get back to what we were discussing. I think we have spoken about Culturama, and let us now speak about the activity that you're here to discuss.
Yes, and so this coming Friday, the Nevis Island administration will be once again celebrating National Heroes Day with a concert. In 2018, I think it was, the Nevis Island administration staged the first National Heroes Day concert. That concert was held at the Cultural Village. Headlining that concert were Third World and Steel Pulse. And I think that one of the aims of that initial concert was to pay homage to Steve Grizzly Nisbet, a Nivision out of Brooklyn, who was a long-standing drummer for the Steel Pulse band. He passed away sometime, I think probably in the year before that, 2017 or maybe early in 2018. And so the Nevis Island administration wanted to honor him for his contribution to music on the worldwide stage, and also as a Nivision for helping to put Nevis on the map. You know, whenever Steel Pulse traveled around the world, and Steel Pulse then and still continues to travel extensively, and you know, when being interviewed, the drummer would say that, you know, he's from Nevis.
Yes.
And that helped to put Nevis on the map, and so they wanted to pay homage to him and to celebrate his contribution. And so they had that concert in 2018. 2019, they came back again with another concert. The second, they had a gospel artist. I can't recall her name. Carlin Davis.
Yes.
Carlin Davis. She was on that concert, and there was another chap there from England, I think, that was on that concert. And then the pandemic came in 2020, 2021. There was no National Heroes Day concert, and
right.
so this year they have decided to bring back the National Heroes Day concert, really to celebrate the persons who would have paved the path to bring us where we are today. We have quite a number of national heroes, one being the late Sir Simeon Daniel,
yes,
of Nevis, and we have quite a few. Well, and there's another national hero from Nevis, France,
yes,
and those from St. Kitts. And so, you know, it's a good way to celebrate the contributions that these persons, Dr. Kennedy Simmons, Robert Llewellyn Batcher, those other national heroes.
Yes.
And so this year, the concert is going to be held this coming Friday, weather permitting. There are a number of persons who are circulating a rumor that the concert is off. We have not made a decision on the concert, on calling off or cancelling or postponing
right.
the concert. We are going ahead. I left the Pennis Park this evening. The guys were there preparing and setting things up. As a matter of fact, while I'm here on the radio, I'm responding to emails for travel arrangements that have been put in place for one of the headline groups that is coming in to perform, the Morgan Heritage Band. And so, yes, Morgan Heritage is going to be the headline performer. We also have Freddie McGregor. He's going to be here as well. And for the young folks, Jamil out of Jamaica. You know, the girls are going to go crazy over Jamil. I know that Melissa is going to be up front and screaming for Jamil. Freddie McGregor is bringing along his son, Chino McGregor. Many persons do not know of him. I in fact did not know of him until Freddie told me that for the price that he's giving, that he will give us two artists, and he's going to be.
But these are some massive acts we're talking about, and you know, this is a concert that is being so widely spoken about. We have a caller on line. Good night, you're live on the mark. Caller, good night, you're live on the mark.
Good night, Mr. Evelyn.
How you doing?
I'm not too bad, thanks. And you?
I am doing pretty good.
Praise the Lord. Mr. Brantley's on?
No. I am on.
Oh, I thought Mr. Brantley. I think I heard his voice.
No, you didn't. You're hearing me.
Oh. Because I have a problem. And I wanted to ask a question.
To Mr. Brantley?
Can I ask you?
Well, I sound like you want to ask Mr. Brantley, so you can probably talk to me after, and I could probably transmit the message to him.
Talk to you after?
After the show tomorrow, you can give me a call, and I can get the message to Mr. Brantley.
Oh.
Because it sounds like you want to talk to Mr. Brantley. Sounds like you want to talk to the Premier.
Maybe I can answer the question to you, know?
Okay. I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer.
Well, you may not be able to answer, but if you have a problem in your area, right? You know who's talking to you?
I think I believe so.
Okay. All right.
I believe I know who I'm talking to.
If you have a problem in your area, right?
Yes.
Like now there was some dirt and well, I call it dirt, but they told me it's not dirt. Some stuff was thrown on the road in where I live.
Okay.
From the top where Mr. Peterson was.
Yes.
Come down. But it was not paved or anything. No tar or anything was thrown on it.
Right.
So whenever we have
Rain.
heavy rain, all that stuff would keep washing off.
Okay.
Come straight down, and it would come straight to my veranda.
Okay.
Since 2020, I've been talking about it. I called.
Yes.
And they would come. They send Public Works would send somebody to mend them, and they take up the dirt out of the yard and on the street. But since last Monday, I had some here in the yard, and I called them. I called Mr. Brown as well.
Okay. I'm writing down what you're saying because I'm going to make a note and inform Minister Brand.
Please. And I spoke to them. And today let me see, it's gone a week and well, almost 2 weeks now.
Yes.
And you know Friday is holiday.
Yes.
And we expect weather.
Yes.
Whenever, as I told you, whenever the heavy rain come, that heavy stuff come down in the yard.
Yes.
And it's very heavy, and I cannot lift it.
Okay.
People come there and help me, and they said to me, boy, this is not good, you know, you can't lift this thing. Anyway, I called this week again, and they told me that they're gonna send somebody. Nobody come up to know.
Okay, call. I'm gonna send the message to. I'm gonna transfer the message to Minister Brand as soon as possible.
I'm gonna finish with you in a while. Just give me a couple minutes, please. And Sunday morning, when I was getting ready for church. I have a little chihuahua on the veranda, and I heard her making a little noise, but it's not like, it sounds friendly. Then I heard a knocking, and I said, wonder what's that? I wonder if it's another animal coming, you know. And then I went and I looked, and when I looked, it was a little boy, an 11 years old child, going to school with his malho, a shovel, and a wheelbarrow.
Yes.
Nobody sent him. He came on his own. He's one of my neighbor's children. Maybe you know the father. He's Ronell Barkley.
Okay.
He's a joiner.
Yes.
And he came, and I said, do your parents know that you are here? He says, no. I was calling you, but you didn't answer. I said, well, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. And he said, I come to clean up the yard for you.
Okay.
And that thing is not easy, Mr. Evelyn.
Yes.
He took up all of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you know what he said to me? I almost want to venture to take up what is in the road,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to trouble it. It would be too much for him.
Right.
And I called Mr. Brand, and I told him about it. I even said to him, I would like you to give that child something, even to help him in school,
Mm-hmm.
to buy his books or whatever. Right?
Yes.
Now, Friday, if rain come, he gonna mess up what he did already, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I would like somebody to really, boost up these people.
Okay.
And they need to come and see what I'm talking about.
All right.
I'll be grateful.
Okay, Kola. I'll certainly speak to Minister Brand
Because
again.
it's not easy.
All right.
One nurse came here to take my pressure one day, and he asked me, do you have money? Because if I fall here,
Mm-hmm.
this is something,
Okay.
So, and I can't walk out and my pave go out to the step. When I'm going out, I have to walk on the grass,
Yes.
And when I go out from my yard, I'm walking in the dirt. They're loose. It's loose. Yes.
Okay.
So please.
Thank you. I will do that for you. Have a good night,
I'm sorry
Kola.
to take up so much of your
No
time.
problem, Kola. Thank you.
But thank you very much.
No problem.
Blessing.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Abo, can we proceed with our conversation regarding our headline acts for the concert on Friday?
Yes, and so I was saying that the headline performer is going to be Morgan Heritage. We have Jamil, we have Freddie McGregor, and we have Chino McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be the headline acts. We also have out of Sinkits, the infamous. He's going to be performing. We have DJ Toby and Selector Bobby alongside Ecstasy Sound, and the host for that event is going to be DJ Woodis. And so it's going to be a free event, and it's going to be at the Malcolm Gishard Park. It's going to begin at 7 o'clock and it's going to run down until 3 a.m. the following morning. Notice I said, Eric, is going to be a free event.
Yes.
So persons do not have to
I think you need to clarify something, because sometimes persons, when they hear free event, some people have been asking me if eats and drinks are free as well. So
I was coming to that.
Okay.
I was coming to that. Yes, it's going to be a free event.
But you don't have to pay to enter.
You do not have to pay to
There's
enter.
no entrance fee.
When we thought of the event, we said that we are going to advertise 8 concession stalls for persons to come and operate and make money. But persons have called, they have begged, they have pleaded, and so we are going to have 12 concession stalls now. So persons can come out and 12 concession stalls. We are going to be constructing also. Mark Theron of what's the name of his business? It's a liquor store right there on in Charlestown on Prince William Street.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to be there. He's going to be there operating, and he's going to be selling mixed drinks and persons can promoting his brand.
And I know he normally gives some samples as well.
Yeah,
so yeah.
So he's going to be there. In fact, we were at the Malcolm Gishard Park this afternoon, and he came along to see where he's going to be set up. So you're going to have people like Mildred Martin, Mortlin Claxton, Big Six Flavors, Samuel Fish Richards, Judrops Restaurant. They're going to be there. And quite a few other persons. As I said, some 12. Nelva Liebert of Rollins Village. She's going to be there also. And so we are encouraging people to come out and have be entertained, get some good, conscious, clean music, and celebrate National Heroes Day in a big way. lots of food is going to be on sale. Lots of drinks will be on sale. And I forgot to mention that the Grandmasters band is going to bring down the house. Grandmasters is one of the more popular bands in the Federation, especially here in Nevis. Nevisians like to party with the Grandmasters band, and so we did not want to leave them out. And so it's gonna be a mega concert. As I said before, we have not, contrary to the rumors that are circulating, we have not called off the concert. The concert is very much still on, unless we get some other recommendation. The concert is going to be on. And so I'm kind of glad for this opportunity, because I know that On the Mark is one of those shows that is widely listened to.
Everybody listens to On the
we
Mark.
can dispel some of the rumors that are going around that the concert is off. The concert is really and truly on. And so I want to invite the whole of Nevis, the whole of St. Kitts. As a matter of fact, while I was getting ready to come here, the Nevis Island Administration Protocol Office reached out to me, and a number of persons from the Independence Central Committee and St. Kitts, the Independence Committee that is comprised of Nevisians and Kittitians, and she sent me some names, persons from the Independence Committee. They are going to be over here, and so we are going to make some provision to accommodate them and to host them at that event. In fact, the chair of the Independence Committee is going to be here, and so we are looking for a grand celebration and an opportunity when St. Kitts and Nevis, Kittitians and Nevisians could come together and celebrate our national heroes together. And so we just want to invite each and everyone, the whole of St. Kitts, the whole of Nevis, even persons in the neighboring islands, Montserrat and Antigua. I remember that first concert we had when we had Steel Pulse, and we had Steel Pulse and Third World, someone that you know very well. Ainsworth Grant came down from Antigua.
Yes.
I was walking to the village and I saw this familiar figure. I said, Ainsworth?
That's somebody you can't miss.
What Ainsworth is doing here? So I walked over. I said, boy, what are you doing here? He said, boy, Abo, I heard about this concert and I couldn't miss it. Ainsworth traveled all the way from Antigua to come down. So we want to invite each and everyone, Montserrat, Kittitians, Nevisians, Montserratians, Antiguans, people in St. Martin, in Anguilla, to in Tortola, the US and British Virgin Islands. So come home for the Independence Weekend and help us to celebrate our national heroes.
Because Abo, these acts that we are speaking about, if you had to pay to attend the show,
exactly.
I mean, we would have been talking $150, $200 there. I mean, so this is a massive event, put on free by the Nevis Island Administration for national heroes. Of course, as you would have rightly said, Abo, this is something that would have been started pre-pandemic. We had a hiatus, but we are back with a bang this year, and I think people are loving the artists, because practically everybody who I speak to say, I want to go to the show. I want to go to the Freedom Concert. The Freedom Concert is the buzz. And I'm sure loads of people will be coming over from St. Kitts. Because, of course, we know normally when there's a big event in St. Kitts, people from Nevis go over in their droves. And once something is happening in Nevis, people come over in their droves as well. And so we're expecting a lot of people from St. Kitts to be over here for that Freedom Concert come Friday, Abo.
Yes, and so I cannot leave this truly and not mention the contribution that MSR Media St. Kitts Nevis is making towards this concert. I want to say a big thank you to I can't recall his name, Felipe and Ben Rizzo. These are the two persons that I've been liaising with for their contribution. In fact, tomorrow they're going to be handing over their sponsorship check to the PS Premier's Ministry, Mr. Wakely Daniel, at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon at Gin Chap. We're going to go over there. We're going to walk with the TV cameras, NTV, because we want to capture that moment, and to thank MSR Media for making a significant contribution towards this major event that the Nevis Island Administration is going to be hosting this weekend as part of the Independent 39 celebrations in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
And Abo, I know pulling an event like this together cannot be easy. Spearheading an event like this cannot be easy with all of the overseas artists, the artists from St. Kitts, from Nevis. And I have to let the listening audience know and the viewing audience know that the man who has been behind this is the man that we're listening to in the studio, Antonio Abernathy live. But I told you, this man is a king when it comes to getting things organized. And I'm sure you've had some very difficult days.
Difficult, Eric. Many nights last week, I was awake at 3 a.m. in the morning. And I could not go back to sleep. I had to get up. I had to be doing stuff. And one of the challenges with this event is that the booking agent for Morgan Heritage lives in Austria.
Wow.
And
the time difference.
Time difference. And so at 3 o'clock in the morning, she would message me. She would call me on the telephone. And we have to be on the telephone coordinating things. And so it has not been easy coordinating this event because of she being in Austria and we being in Nevis, the time difference, and so last evening when I was about to go to sleep, she messaged me after 11-hour time because they were getting two of the artists came in. Two of the group Morgan Heritage came in today already. They are staying at Four Seasons, and there was some difficulty. And she messaged me, and we were on the phone back and forth, calling, messaging. At minutes to 1, I said, Isabel, I have to go to sleep now. I have to go to sleep now, Isabel. I cannot stay up any longer. Because it looked as if I was going to be on the phone with her back and forth all night, but eventually we got some things ironed out, and so I was able to get some sleep. Just before coming here, I was at the office maybe minutes to 7, and I called her, and she said, Antonio, I cannot take your call. I'm trying to get some sleep. It's a bit challenging. But yeah, once everything goes well in terms of the weather, we are expecting to have a mega event here. As I told Miss Scarborough this evening, Miss Scarborough of the NIA,
yes,
of the Premier's Ministry, I said, Miss Scarborough, this is a music festival type event.
Indeed.
She was asking me about cheers if persons wanted
nobody
me
wants to sit for an activity
cheers,
like that. No.
Cheers. I said, Mrs. Scarborough, this is a music festival type event. There are going to be no cheers, and she couldn't believe. So it's going to be a major, and it's a major undertaking.
And I think it's at the perfect venue.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic venue at the Malcolm Gishard Park, and I believe that people are looking forward to this with great anticipation. And I believe with the lineup that you have there, I don't think anybody will come and be disappointed.
No, and it's an excellent opportunity for the vendors, to make some money. Some of the persons who have not been, who did not have an opportunity during Culturama to make money. The Jujaps, the Nelva Libuds, they did not operate booths at Culturama. They have an opportunity now to make some money. And some well-needed money. Not to say that they really need it, but
right.
It's a way of helping them to get over some of the difficulties that the pandemic could have created for them, financial difficulties. And so when persons come and say, oh, why the Nevis Island Administration, or why they are doing this, or they are creating economic activity within the country.
Of course.
we are going to be creating business for the water taxi operators, the motor vessels that run between Sinkers and Nevis. Taxi drivers. We this afternoon at the office, Angelique France, she had one or two of the taxi drivers who are going to be operating there, giving them the itinerary.
The hotels, the business.
The hotels are going to be doing business. We are the persons are going to be staying at the Hamilton, and some are going to be staying at the Four Seasons, and so this is the slow time of year.
And
so the workers at Four Seasons, the workers at the Hamilton, they are going to be engaged.
And people must recognize the spin-off effects of these as well, because the thing is, you have these big artists coming to Nevis. People are going to hear that they're going to Nevis. People might want to come to visit Nevis another time. Some of those same artists may want to come back for vacation. When they go back, they may promote the island of Nevis and the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and so people don't understand sometimes the long-term benefits that you can get from activities of this nature, where you have people from overseas who come, and people of caliber and class who would come, and I mean, when they perform and they love the audience, as I said, they may want to come back for a vacation, they may want to bring their family. They may spread the word when they go back. So there's a lot of spin-off effects as well.
When as I said earlier, that two of the group, Morgan Heritage Group, came in this afternoon, and when the taxi driver Eddie, who is a taxi driver on the other end, he normally do work for us. He called and he said, "Look, my two passengers said to tell you, get them some mangoes." So if there's anybody out there who have mangoes, especially Amripali or the long mango, you can call me up.
And that could be some business again.
The Morgan Heritage Group, they're looking to have some good, nice, juicy Nevis mangoes, and so and it's a way of advertising
and promoting. We have a mango festival annually,
exactly,
so they can maybe because I mean, when we had the mango festival here, I interviewed two persons who came from the US just to attend the mango festival. And so I mean, it's a way to you get a lot of spin-off effects.
You see, people don't see the value in these activities. Some people do not see the value in Culturama. They don't see the value in these concerts. They don't see the value in music festival. But there's a lot of value.
A lot.
When we introduced the Wet Fete for Culturama a few years ago, at the end of the night, there was no bar. We have 10 bars at the Cultural Village, and all of the bars was sold out. Those guys were smiling all the way to the bank at the end of the day. And so the economic activity that is created in
numerous families are going to be benefiting.
Yeah, and people don't see the value in these kind of things. They're just one track. They just want to see things a certain way, and they don't look at the spin-off effect.
Precisely.
You know how happy those workers at Four Seasons and at the Hamilton are going to be to know that they were able to get some extra tips.
With all this stress that people went through for 2 years, you know how happy people were when we brought back Culturama this year? When a caller could call in here and ask, what we discussing Culturama for?
Exactly.
I mean, come on, give me a break. How about we're running out of time? Could you just recap? Tell us who the artists who are going to be performing on the concert.
So this Friday, 7 p.m. at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, we are going to be having Morgan Heritage. We are going to have Freddie McGregor, China McGregor. We're also going to be having Jamil, and we have specially brought in Jamil for Melissa and all those other young persons. This is going to be the Grandmasters Band. We're going to have Infamous out of St. Kitts. We're going to have Selector Bobby and DJ Toby. We're going to have Woodis as the host. We're going to have Woodis as a DJ as well. And so we just want to invite everybody. 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. Security is going to be tight. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, they're going to be there. We have private security. We have already so far engaged 12 security personnel who are going to be there. That is more business for these security firms. These security firms. So there's something in it for everybody.
Everybody. And of course, people want to enjoy themselves. As I said, people have gone through 2 years of stress.
Yeah.
People need to unwind, and this is an excellent and perfect opportunity for people to go out and have fun, mix and mingle. It's Culturama weekend, folks. Go out and have fun.
Not Culturama weekend.
I'm sorry. I'm Independence weekend. What am I saying? Remember, the color for tomorrow is red. And so we just want to say thanks to our guests for this evening. We had Miza earlier on, and we had Abo. And of course, we want to remind you that this coming Friday, 16th, Big Heroes, the concert. We're inviting all to come out to the Malcolm Gishard Park from 7 p.m. until 3 a.m. And once again, it has been my pleasure hosting On The Mark for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, you can listen again tomorrow. It is a rebroadcast of the show tomorrow from 1 until 3 p.m. It has certainly been my pleasure. Have a wonderful night. God bless you. Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily